Hey everyone, it is Monday, June 12th, I believe, 2011, and welcome to this newest addition to the new entry series. And I have to tell you folks, summer in a way has officially arrived for my family in some ways. What I mean by the fact that it's officially arrived in some ways is this past weekend we kind of got the idea of exactly what I told you. How things would change with my video updates and everything, my video channel for the summer. This past weekend was just that exact situation. Now, I'll say this though. It wasn't because it was summer and it was due to the fact that they just wanted to come over and be here for the weekend. It wasn't just, that or be here for the week and stuff like that. It was more the fact that my second older sister and her family were moving just a couple of miles down, about a mile to two down the road. A mile or two down the road from where they originally lived. It's all due to this whole foreclosure stuff that it seems everybody's going through here in the United States. So that's just one of the reasons. So they ended up moving to this new house, like I said, which is about a mile or two away from where they originally lived. And it's a nice little house. It's a nice house. It's actually kind of, I'll say this, our living room here is big. It's a big room. Actually, it's bigger than what they have, but on average, you could take half of this room right here. You could cut right down the middle from this lampshade is. Cut right down to the middle, right over to where the TV is. Kind of like cut it right in half, if you will, and that's practically the living room. It's about, well, actually not to the TV, because that might be a little small, but actually to the coffee table near the couch. Let's just put it that way. Sort of like in a diagonal way going like this way. Going like this way. That's the living room. Sort of like that. And the fireplace is like right in the corner. It's got a little thing you can sit down on if you want to sit down. Now, the only difference about their house from the original though, or from the old house, is that the hallway is not carpeted. No, the hallway actually is tiled. And seeing as though they got a rambunctious 3-year-old, he's got to be careful on that now, as he learned last night. But it's a really nice house. The other difference is as well is that the rooms aren't as separated from each other as people would think. No. They're not as separated as they used to think. Let me put it to you like this. You go there, here's kind of like an idea of what the house now looks like. Like I said, the living room's like right about, it's like this big. Living room's about this big. Kind of like that. That's what it's like. But it's pretty decent size, bigger than the other living room. Bigger than the other living room. Much bigger. And also the fact that it makes even an HD TV look small. I mean, my mom sits right here, and there's her TV, and people think that's small when they sit far away from it. But their TV is an HD one. They got on the same stand as they did before, but it looks small compared to where it was before. Because when they used to live in the old house, he'd be like, the couches would be right here, he'd be the TV, a little closer that is. He'd be the couches, he'd be the TV. That's how close. Now it's like this, almost. So, it's a decent sized house. I mean, bigger living room, which gives them plenty of space. Bigger backyard, no doubt about that. Bigger backyard, and again, like I said, the rooms aren't as separated as they used to be. All right, and I mean, let me explain. Again, let me explain. It's like in the old house, here would be my nephew's room up front, like one of the up front, because he'd have a window like on the right side or the left side, depending on how you were walking. If you were walking away from the house, it'd be the right side. If you were walking towards the house, it'd be the left side. Now it's his room. It used to be my mom's old room, but it was his. So that was his room. Now, that was his room. Now here's the thing. His room, used to lead down the hallway. Like way across from his room would be his parents' room. It's like, here's his room, this is his parents, sort of like that. And then his brothers would be like in the middle. And then their bathroom would be like right there, sort of with a closet and everything, storage closet. And again, the storage closet would be right there. Hall closet, that is. And they had a laundry room as well, which was okay. But now things are a little bit more different because the rooms are right next to each other, almost literally. Here's what I'm saying. It's got plenty of space. You can move stuff around. It's not like, squeeze in, but you can move stuff. They moved the dresser drawer in there. They've moved his bed, my 3-year-old nephew's bed in there, my teenage nephew's bed in there, everything. But here's the thing. Again, the rooms aren't as far away as they used to be. I mean, they're really, really close. It's like, here's my nephew, here's my teenage nephews, here's my 3-year-old nephews. Like that. Literally right across. And the parents, like I said, in the old house would be down the hall. So, for my teenage nephew. Now, they're down the hall, but it's not as far. It's not like they gotta walk down the hallway just to get to his room, or he has to get to their room to get on the computer. Nope. It's more like, here's his room, here's their room. It's like, here's their room, here's his room. Just a few steps, that's it. Which means, he likes to stay up to about a certain time limit during the summer. I mean, what teenagers don't like doing that? What teenage boys or girls don't like doing that? But I don't think he's going to be able to do that when his parents right there. You know what I'm saying? With his parents right there. So, and I'm sorry if I'm pausing a little bit, but I'm still waking up, still tired. So yeah, that's about it. And overall, it's actually, like I said, overall it is actually a nice little house, nice neighborhood and everything. A big front yard, big backyard. They have a kind of a pole right next to the driveway. And I looked at that and I'm thinking, that was either full of light or most likely it was a basketball hoop. So I told my brother-in-law, hey, if he feels like it, he can put a basketball hoop on that thing, and there you go. The only thing they worry about is, they got this big dog, and you know how pets are, especially dogs, I guess. Once they're used to one area, they freak out because they freak out when they go into a new area because they don't know exactly that area. That area is not their territory. So, yeah, they have to literally brigade and bombard a lot of the back area, a lot of the fences, so that she doesn't try to dig her way out. So, I mean, say they've succeeded one night, they succeeded hopefully last night. I think they did. They very did, because I was there. My brother-in-law, put a put a board there. He put like one of those wooden boards, if you will, bases that was left over. Put a log there. Put some tires in the area she was digging in. So now she doesn't. Now she can't really dig out. If I'm them, honestly, I do that. Put more stuff around this so she doesn't dig out, or I'd start putting some cement there. That way she doesn't dig. That's what I would do. I mean, we do it with our dog. We put like little fences around the bottom fence so she doesn't dig. So, we'll see what happens there. The only thing that also worries my second older sister is the fact that they got this fan outside. How for the cooler. When we have a newer one, but they have one out back. So she's worried that he's going to get into it. So we've suggested put a little fence around there. But overall, again, like I said, it's just a really nice house. It's a better house in a way than what they've had before. Yeah, on an average, if you look at it, the walking, if you look at it in a way, everything inside is bigger. The only thing is, the rooms are kind of back to back, if you will, kind of side by side with each other. It's really great, and I'm happy for them that they got it. They still have a few knickknacks and stuff, like a dishwasher and stuff like that they own, that they got to get out of the old house. And hopefully they're going to get it out of there before anybody else moves in. Because I don't want to be, I don't want to be my sister and her family going over there, and all of a sudden there's a new car there and stuff is changed up a little bit, and you're like, oh no, people have moved in already. There goes our stuff. Because that's happened, folks. That's happened. People will do what my sister's family is going to try to do, and that's get their stuff out of that house before anything else happens. Because if another family moves in there, anything that was there either gets thrown out, or in this case, if it's a dishwasher, it gets kept. And a stove, like I said, it gets kept. So anyway, that's sort of what's happening there. But again, I'm just happy that they got a new place. The rooms are bigger. My 3-year-old nephew's room is actually a little bit bigger by a few inches than his brother's. And I think it's probably about the same. The master bedroom is, I think, about the same size as his, maybe a little bigger. Well, actually, it is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger than my 3-year-old nephew's by a few inches as well. Because they also got a bathroom in there, and my sister was commenting on the lights, because they got hanging lights in the bathrooms, calling them the 70s lights. And, yeah, but they liked it. And my nephew, when at the old house, the master bedroom was big. I'm not gonna lie about that. The old house's master bedroom was big. But when you used to walk into the room to see where because that's where my teenage nephew would be. He'd be on the computer. You'd walk into that room, and you'd have to walk a little bit more, just walk. It's like, okay, you're walking in, and it's like, okay, you walk in, okay, you're right here. Here's the entranceway. But then you have to keep walking and walking and walking till you turn and you see him. Now, all you have to do is this. You just gotta just take a step in, turn, there he is. Now I know technically in a sense that his wish was for them to put the computer in his room, but that did not happen. What did happen though was, yesterday we helped them out. Actually, this past weekend we helped them out. Because you see, like I said, my mom ended up watching them on Friday. And then Saturday, me and my brother-in-law, my older sister's husband, went and helped them a little bit. And then yesterday, my older brother-in-law took me to work with him in Tracy, along with my 18-year-old niece and a friend of his, and we worked on these we did pressure washing down these semi trucks. Now we're not talking to trailers and all that as well. We're talking just, the semis. Just the semis themselves, the trucks. And it didn't take too long. It actually took about four, almost 5 hours. It didn't take too long. I mean, we got there just about 5. We ended about 9:55, I believe. We got out of there officially at 9:55. Almost, it's about 5 minutes to 5 hours, so about 5 clocked in. Just clocking in at 5. Now, my brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, who runs this business, he's going to take me again, but not today. You see, from what he told my mom last night, it's going to be in another vicinity, and it's going to be a bigger job. And knowing my past experience with big things like that, it's not so easy. Small things like the semis, it's fine. The other things like the business vans and stuff won't be. Besides, somebody has to be here to help watch his son if he drops him off. Now, after that, we came home. After we were done, he dropped me off back at home, and instead of resting like I should have, I got my pants on, I got my clothes on, my shirts on, and you kind of dampen, basically put mouthwash, brush teeth and all that, and then I just went from there to church. Basically, he dropped me off. Basically, what my brother-in-law did is he dropped me off, and he dropped me off, and I went inside, and like I said, instead of resting, I changed out of the clothes I worked in into my church clothes, went to church, made it just in time for the entire sermon. Then, after that we at McDonald's, we came home, and what was funny about this is my mom was always contemplating should she go to church or not, because she goes to church on a regular basis. There's no doubt about it. She goes to church on a regular basis. But she was wondering, should I go this week? Should I go this Sunday? Because basically what it was is that my 7-year-old nephew wanted to spend the night because my 3-year-old nephew was spending the night. So she was watching him on Saturday because I went with my brother-in-law, my other brother-in-law, to help my second older sister's family move. So my nephew wanted to stay the night, I guess, and he did. And it was surprising because he and my 3-year-old nephew like to compete with each other. They like to really interject, put a lot of energy into each other. The teenage boy doesn't help out sometimes because he likes to rile them up. But she wasn't sure, but yet she did. And she always, to me, I think technically when my mom says stuff like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to go because I got the kids," now I think that's just the tired part, because she does get worn out easily with these kids. That's kind of, her way of saying, I'm not sure, but that's just her, tired mind talking. She doesn't really, go through with that. She doesn't really follow through that much on it at all. So, yeah, she took him to church. I went there afterwards, stopped at, like I said, I got dropped off here, changed, went to church. Then we got McDonald's, came home, ate, and then from there went to my second older sister's, took 2 cars, if you will, to my sister's, not my second older sister, but went to my older sister's house, then took both vans, if you will, to my second older sister's to help her move, and also kind of have a little bit of a get-together as well, sort of a gathering, to celebrate the move there. And everything, again, like I said, and everything was, because 24 hours before she was having problems about, trying to get everything hooked up. I mean, she had the cable and everything hooked up. She tried to get things corrected and finally did. And then we came back, brought the kids back with us, and my teenage nephew went right to work, if you will, putting the computer together, putting the Wi-Fi in, you know, getting the Wi-Fi working and everything, just like he did at the old house. And then from there, I actually helped out by moving stuff as well, you know, the dumbbells and, you know, whatever else needed to be moved. And then in the spare time, I helped kind of organize my teenage nephew's room a little bit because, you know, his parents were always complaining at times it could look like a tornado hit it. So I organized it to the point that, okay, he's got, because in the past he used to have his TV on this little white shelf. Now he has his TV on his dresser drawer. And his dresser drawer is big enough to hold on one side his cable box and on the other his 360. So we, just like in his old house, just like he did before, we put his cable box on the side, works perfectly. And then we put his Xbox on the other side, hooked it all up, and you know, he was ready to go. And I even organized his games, put them on his shelf, and then I hooked up his little stereo system, put the two speakers for his stereo system, I think they may be the rear speakers, I'm not sure, on the back of his bass, on the back of his head bass, so that if he's laying down and wants to play games, he can hear it from right there. But that's what we did. Again, we helped them all out, and it was a really interesting weekend, and I'll tell you this, I'm still feeling the effects from yesterday. That's why I'm so out of it. It may seem a little out of it. So, but yeah, it was a good weekend. A weekend I'm going to remember. A Sunday I'm going to remember. I'll tell you that. So, the only other thing I did this past weekend is I purchased a new game, but I didn't purchase a game physically in person. I did it as part of the Games on Demand deal. I purchased Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That's the only game I purchased. And that doesn't actually take as long as people say. It takes about maybe 30 minutes to an hour, perhaps, depending on the size of the game. So, but I did that, and my nephew was happy about that. So, overall, just a weekend I'm not going to forget. Nobody's going to forget, and it's a Sunday I'll never forget. So, that's all I'm going to say for this edition from the New Entry Series. Tell me what you guys think down below. Comment if you want, and I'll talk to you later.